Hi everybody, it's Rainy. Today I'm kind of stuck in the house because we're having an ice storm. I'll show you that, what it looks like outside at our house. So I thought I'd have a kind of a baking day, I guess. I'm gonna make some bread. I'm gonna try making some chocolate chip cookies. And what else am I making? Oh, pizza. So Daniel's out with our oldest son, braving the roads for some last minute shopping. It is starting to melt, so I'm sure he's perfectly fine out. But last night and yesterday during the day, it was terrible. You can see where the ice is in comparison to where the soup was just parked. Okay, finding a spot for you guys is a little bit difficult sometimes. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So I got my grind mill out, and I've got regular, flour, but I like to actually use some of my wheat berries as well, so that they are getting used up and they're not just sitting in a closet or a pantry or long-term storage for a really long time or anything like that. So these are hard white wheat berries, and I'm going to use just whatever I grind here, and then the rest will be just out of this bag of organic unbleached. Okay, got it plugged in. I'm gonna put my lid on. Okay, so I also like to kind of put the flour through a little bit of a sift. I'm not really trying to, I guess, get all of like the bigger chunks out. It's just that the flour seems to bake up better if you've gone through a sift. I don't know. I'm not an expert baker, as you've probably noticed. So if you have a question about something, I'm not the right person to ask, especially about that kind of stuff. I just kind of follow everybody else's recipes and go from there. This recipe makes 2 loaves, but we really don't make a lot of sandwiches out of it. It is really mostly for toast. So I'm going to keep sifting this, and then I will bring you right back. All right, so I've got my KitchenAid that I got from my grandmother. So I'm going to take about 3 cups of flour. So there's 1. It's probably almost 2, not quite. So this recipe actually calls for 6 to 7 cups, but you only put in about 3 before you have to put all your wet or other ingredients in, and then you kind of let it sit for about 15 minutes. There's a term for it. You guys tell me what it's called. I can't remember what it is. Okay, let's get the rest of the ingredients in there. So we need 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. We need, how much oil? 1/2 cup of olive oil. Where's my measuring cup? There it is. Sugar. We need 2 tablespoons of sugar. teaspoons of salt. Oh, I almost forgot. 3 cups of warm water. All right, let's get this on the blender, or is that what it's called? KitchenAid blender, something like that. Mixer. Sorry, if I was saying blender earlier, I meant mixer. I really haven't been drinking it, folks, but I am gonna have a little bit of wine. Okay, so it's probably good enough. That's just enough to kind of incorporate everything. And now we're just gonna set the timer for 15 minutes and I'll see you in 15. Okay, so the timer went off and my dough is looking nice and bubbly. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Here, let's take you down so you can see what it looks like. So lighting's not very good, but you can see it over there in the corner, how it's kind of nice and bubbly. Okay. So now we're gonna put the remaining flour in. So now we're going to put in the rest of the flour, or at least some of it. I'm gonna put at least 3 of these in. Actually, let's go with 4. And we start. What's great about this bread recipe, by the way, it's when I looked at pizza dough recipes, in the pizza dough, it's got the exact same ingredients. So I'm just gonna split this dough in 2, and I'm gonna make 1 loaf of bread and 2 pizzas with it. Okay, let's get this going. So it's still pretty wet. You kind of want the dough so that it's pulling away from the sides of the bowl. Let's see if we got a good, yeah. So we're gonna take it up to 2. Very close now. Okay, now, this is at the point where you want to kind of just put in a little bit at a time. And you're kind of pulling away. Okay, so if you look down in there, you see how it's all cleaned up, it's unstuck from the bottom. Let's pull it out. Okay, let's pull it out of here. Now we're gonna flour down the counter a little bit, work the dough by hand. I do have what they call a bench scraper. It's basically just a sharp-edged flat tool that'll kind of help pull the dough up off of the counter or the bowl. Make sure that's out of your way. Yep, okay. So, I'm just going to knead this by hand a little bit. Get the line out of the way. It's nice and soft. Don't have to knead it too much, but it's always fun to do it just a little bit, just because it just feels nice. It's nice and soft. You can kind of get an idea if your bread's got too much flour or it's too wet. This actually feels really nice. It's not sticking to my hands, but I can still feel that it's nice and sticky, I guess, at the same time. I am splitting this in half so that half of it will be for the pizza dough, the other half for some bread. Okay, I'm gonna oil up. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing over here. Yeah, okay, so we're just gonna lightly oil up a bowl. Looks like I need to refill my olive oil. I get my olive oil in bulk, so I just use the same container. So now it's covered in just a light coating of olive oil so it won't dry out. And we are going to put, what are we putting over the top of this? A little towel. And we'll just set it off to the side. All right, and we'll let this one rise to about probably an hour or so each. Okay, I'm gonna clean up this mess and let's start making some cookies. All right, let's get going on the cookies. So the cookies I'm making are just some recipe I found online, but I do know that most of the people said do not overmix this or then they become like cake texture. Well, that would be the worst thing ever because my husband does not like those kind of cookies. He likes crispy cookies. So let's see how these work out. So I'm putting 2 sticks of butter. It says set the oven for 375. Just like everybody else, I got a big old cast iron pan in the oven that I need to get out. Okay, so now it says to, I don't know, beat the butter, something like that. Cream the butter, I guess is what they say. So we're going to cream the butter. I don't know, does that look creamed? Probably. Okay, so I think it says 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Actually, it says 1 teaspoon, but I'm gonna put like a little bit over that. We'll go with 1.5.
Vanilla and vanilla.
Okay, what now? 3/4 cup, wait, eggs? I'm supposed to be putting eggs in now. Cream butter, add sugars, vanilla, salt. How much salt am I supposed to put into this? 1 teaspoon salt. Okay, so 1 teaspoon salt. And how much sugar? 3/4 cups of regular sugar. That's a half. That looks like about 1/4. Thank you, Erica, for the brown sugar. Pretty sure I'm supposed to put 3/4 cup of that. So here's a half. And it says firmly packed. Yep, okay. That looks like about a half firmly packed. Okay, or 1/4 I should say. Okay, so now I'm going to, what am I doing? Okay, I'm mixing it. It says mix it well. Let's get the butter off of the, there we go. Aha. Now, pretty sure this is a typo, and it's been a typo in every single recipe I've seen it in, but it says eat 2 eggs well. Well, I'm definitely not gonna eat 2 eggs, so I'm pretty sure they meant beat 2 eggs well. But this recipe is in like 3 different locations on the internet that I found within 15 minutes, and they all said the same thing, so it's a bad copy paste job. Yeah, it says 2 eggs, eat well. No, thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna put the 2 eggs in. And this is the first time I've been using some of my frozen eggs. So we've got 4 chickens. You guys probably know that. And they give us probably they definitely give us way too many eggs that we can actually even use. So I've been freezing some of them, so in case they slow down on their egg production, we'll have eggs that we can use that are in the freezer. So I just unthawed some. Here they are. So we're gonna put those in and start her back up. Okay, so now we're gonna put in the first half of the flour. And that is 1 cup. Okay, and this is where you're supposed to definitely not over mix. Okay, and now you're supposed to put some baking soda in mixed with hot water. So let me get that all ready. Okay, so this is 1 teaspoon of baking soda with 1 teaspoon of hot water. That's supposed to go in. The other cup of flour. It's actually, how much flour? 2 1/4 cup. I already put the 1/4 cup in, so. Okay, now, very important that we only mix this enough to incorporate it, I guess. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't want to overmix it and have cake. That's the worst thing you can do to cookies, right, Dal?
What's that, love?
Turn them into cake.
No, can't turn cookies into cake.
Okay, so let me get everything cleaned up here and then I'll dial you in. All right, now for the good stuff. Let's put the chocolate chips, and I'm gonna actually use peanuts. The recipe calls for walnuts, and if I actually wanted to eat something that tastes like dirt, I'd just eat dirt. There's 2 cups of chocolate chips. Whoa, whoa, it's getting away from me. Okay, again, have I stated lately that I'm not a baker? And it said 2 cups of walnuts. So we're going with 2 cups peanuts. And then we're just supposed to stir it up. So, once I get this kind of incorporated, don't want to lose chips. Okay, once I get this kind of incorporated, I'll bring you back for the next step. All right, I think I got it mixed pretty good. So next thing it is to put it on the pan. So let's get started. Okay, so the writer of the recipe originally said that she just likes to get her hands wet and roll the doughs into, the batter into some dough balls. So let's just try it. The only thing no one has said to me, or that I've read so far, is how big the dough balls are supposed to be. So someone at some point said an ice cream scoop. So I don't know. What do you think? Does that look like an ice cream scoop? Okay, I gotta go rob Peter to pay Paul here. I got a giant cookie over here that shouldn't be as giant. Enough. That one's looking a little small. Let's put a little bit from that one onto that one. A little bit more from that one. That one's looking kind of giant too. Okay, probably good enough. Let me wash my hands. Okay, so now something about flattening them a little bit. So what do I got that I can flatten a little bit? How about this? So we'll just kind of flatten it down a little bit. Okay, let's get them into the oven. This is what they look like. Basically, they say if you're gonna have 2 sheet pans of cookies, put one on the top and one underneath, and then halfway through the cooking time, we're gonna rotate them. So they need to cook for, how long? Bake for about 12 minutes, so let's just put the timer at 6 minutes. Okay, so my bread has definitely doubled in size. So let me see if you can see me. No, I'm gonna go that way. Okay, so we're gonna just kind of punch this down. I'm gonna take it out onto the counter. Gonna kind of flatten it out and pop all the bubbles. You can kind of hear them popping. Let me get my pan. I'm gonna use my little Pullman pan. This one doesn't come with a lid. So I'm just kind of rolling this up, tucking the ends, getting the dough kind of tightened up a little bit. And then we're just putting it in here, kind of press it down a little bit. Probably can't see that. Pressing it down into the pan a little bit. And then we're going to probably let it rest for, it'll probably take, since it was pretty fast getting it to rise the first time, it'll probably take less than 15 minutes to rise. What's up, Dale? Oh.
Howdy. We like to pre-cook the pepperoni a little bit, get some of the grease out of it, not so greasy, and then it also makes a better, nice, crunchy bite on your pepperoni on your pizza, the little stuff that's sticking out of the cheese and stuff. So, just gonna. Just real quick, not even 5 minutes, and you'll see here, and after it's done, all the oil we get out of it, and it makes your pizza a little less greasy.
Okay, let's get the cookies out. They smell delicious. Oh, wow. Those look fantastic. Gotta get the others out. I think they're gonna be a little bit browner because they got the bottom half. Oh yeah, look at those. They look beautiful. Okay, now they just need to rest so they can kind of crisp up. Oh yeah. Okay, now let's get going with the pizzas. All right, so Daniel got the pepperoni cooked up enough to where, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but you can see all the oil at the bottom down there. Yeah, so that's just less oil that you're gonna have on your pizza. What do I wanna go with first? Let's get the pizza sauce going. I don't have any pre-made pizza sauce anymore. We're out. So I'm gonna take some of my tomato paste, nice and thick. I mean, so thick that, look at this. Yeah, that's how thick. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Okay, let's see, are you gonna be able to see? Probably, good enough. Okay, we'll go about medium. Let's get the paste out. We are definitely gonna need to add a little bit of water to this. We'll start with like a half a cup. A little bit more, just till we get it to the consistency that we want. More. Oh, I should probably get the bread going. It looks done. or at least risen. Let's get it in there. Oh yeah, so see how it's a little bit above the edge. Now I'm gonna take a sharp knife, find one, and we're just gonna cut it a little bit long there. Throw it in the oven, and that'll be in there about 35 minutes. Okay, so this tomato paste has absolutely no seasoning, so let's get to seasoning it here.
Oregano, garlic, basil, sugar, olive oil.
Okay, we're gonna put in a little bit of salt. Sorry. A little bit of oregano. This is my homemade oregano that I dehydrated. Turn this down a bit. That's probably enough. And I have some basil in here. My basil again. A little bit. I like to kind of rub it together. Get it stirred up. Oh, that is smelling delicious. Like Dal said, we're gonna put a little bit of sugar. Sugar. Not that much. Crushed red pepper flakes. And a tiny bit of pepper. Down, you better come taste. Let's have Dan will do a little bit of a taste test here. See where we're at. Turn this all the way down to low.
What are we gonna taste it?
Pizza sauce.
Alright.
Ooh.
Does it come with a cookie?
Okay.
Looks pretty good.
Salt.
A little bit of salt. That's probably about it.
All right.
Voila. I'm probably gonna start some issues here, but I gotta tell it like I see it. When I was young, my friend's mom made cookies. And she made cookies that were crispy and chewy at the same time, almost crunchy. I love those cookies. So, how do you like your cookies? Do you like them crispy? Do you like them chewy? I'm just gonna say I like mine more on the crispy side, but look at these cookies. These look delicious, and I know they're gonna be delicious. But how do you like your cookies?
I hear the crunch.
Mm-hmm. These cookies are delicious. And I don't know, at the beginning of the video I showed you, we've been stuck inside for over a day because it's been a miserable icy mess outside, crazy for around here. So, been eating plenty, been eating a lot. Guess I'll throw one of these cookies on the old fire too, and delicious.
Okay, let's get the pizza crust ready. So I have my pizza stone there. I'm gonna roll out my first pizza dough a little bit. All right, it's getting pretty close. Just kind of eyeing the stone here. Okay, so what we're also going to do is put a little bit of cornmeal down on the pizza stone. Okay, so let's put it on the pizza stone. Looks pretty darn good. Our pizza sauce on. Wow, that looks delicious. Cheese on. And we're gonna load this one up with pepperoni. We're gonna put some ham on. Okay, we like mushrooms on our pizza. So let's throw some of those on. Let's put on a little bit of herbs. The oldest son's here. He wants a cookie. Cookie!
Cookie.
Maybe a little bit of pepper. And let's put a little bit of red pepper flakes on it. And a sprinkle of more cheese. Okay, I will bring you back when it's ready to go. Okay, let's take the bread out. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that bread. Let's throw some butter on that. Okay, and so let's get it out of the pan. There we go. Let's get the pizza in. So there's the pizza. I threw a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top. Let's throw this baby in. Okay, I think the pizza's ready. And it's actually only been 20 minutes and it looks pretty darn good. So I'm gonna pull it out and we'll take a look at it together. I mean, the top is just nice and brown. I mean, it looks gorgeous. I think we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna set it down here. All right, everyone. Here's my baking day. We got our chocolate chip and peanut cookies, our sandwich bread, and the pizza. And this is actually the second one. The first one that you guys saw has already been ate. Merry Christmas, everyone.